It's John Beaudin from Rock History Canada. Some sad news from a Canadian legend who's been around for a heck of a long time. I remember the big headlines surrounding this woman when I was growing up was that she was a teenager when she first got fame. Shirley Eikhard has passed away. She was 67 years old. Anybody growing up in Canada would, of course, been familiar with her music. Anne Murray recorded her stuff, but most notably, as the title states, and we don't mean disrespect to say that she's just something to talk about writer and that's all she is. But of course, we want people to know that she did write that iconic song for Bonnie Raitt, which was supposed to be recorded for Anne Murray, but they kind of shelved it for a while. She died after a battle with cancer. The Luck of the Draw album, by the way, was going to be released, and then Bruce Springsteen told Bonnie Raitt, do not release this album under any circumstances unless you have a hit. You have to have a hit or else the album's not going to, it was her second big album. We were trying to make it. And so Luck of the Draw ended up being, a 1-2 punch for her. Eichhardt went to Nashville when she was, in 1985. Wrote a bunch of tunes and wrote something to talk about in 20 minutes. She's, like I said, sent it to Anne Murray, but they kind of were not interested, believe it or not. She was born in Sackville, New Brunswick, about 48 kilometers from where I am now. And then the family moved to Ontario after that. But getting back to the Hitsville thing, the fact that when you're a kid, and you have hits, it says something. But before that, let's talk about some of the awards. In 1973, she won Juno Award for Best Country Female Artist. The following year, Juno Award for Best Country Female Artist. In 1992, she won the Juno Award for Songwriter of the Year. And in 2020, the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. Her solo hits include, let's put some pictures up. Isn't that a beautiful picture of her? It Takes Time in 1971, Something in Your Face the same year, Smiling Wine the following year. In 1975, she had played a bit longer. I Just Wanted You to Know in 1976. Her biggest hit was actually the song that, of course, we know from Fleetwood Mac, Say You Love Me, in 1976. She was inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1991, again, for Something to Talk About. But a real shock because I've had opportunities through the years to have a talk with Shirley Eikhard, and every time it was going to happen, something went wrong. There was always something that, I don't know, and that happens in interviews sometimes where it's scheduled or someone gets sick. I forget exactly the reason why I didn't get a chance to talk to her, but it really never happened. Look at there. Look how young she is there. Just a teenager, when she first came to the scene. And a big part of Canadian history, a big part of our patchwork in Canada. And and there you go. Anne Murray recorded her song It Takes Time in 1971. And it was a hit on the Canadian charts. So sort of a sad day. And I remember Shirley sent me an autograph, a personalized autograph picture when we were setting up the interview for one of her albums. And I thought it was really, really cool. I didn't ask for it. And I went, well, that's kind of classy of her. And that's what I've heard about Shirley, through the years, as far as her being just a classy person. Let me just put up the... So again, we're going to reiterate what we just said. Shirley Eikhard, Canadian songwriter, penned Something to Talk About. She died at the age of 67. She had cancer. I'm not sure how long she battled cancer, but they talked to her before COVID on one of the Canadian TV shows, and she was wearing a mask, and she did not look very healthy. But then again, you age, and that kind of happens. Again, to the Bonnie Raitt story for Luck of the Draw, which was her second big album, sort of a comeback album for a prestige artist, which Bonnie Raitt was known as. She was known as a prestige artist. People were glad to have Bonnie Raitt on their label. So Bruce Springsteen told her for Luck of the Draw, you make sure you have a hit. She found Something to Talk About, which is something Shirley Eikhard wrote in about 20 minutes, believe it or not. When she went to Nashville in 1985, she wrote all these songs. Sent it to Anne Murray. Anne Murray shelved it. And basically Bonnie Raitt got the cassette as well with a number on it. When she recorded her version, she phoned Shirley Eikhard and says, take a listen to this. Pretty amazing when you think about it. Eichhardt is from Sackville, New Brunswick, originally, about 48 kilometers from where we are here in Moncton. In 71, Anne Murray recorded her song It Takes Time. So again, we're going to talk about just some of the hits before we bow out tonight. Her solo hits include It Takes Time, her version is 71. Something in Your Face the same year. Smiling Wine the following year. Let me give you another picture here. Oh, I love that picture of her. Blythe Eisner, Brother John. So much unknown talent around the world. Thanks for sharing. I'm definitely going to check her out. Check her out on Apple or Spotify. You can really, she has a very different, unique voice. And thanks for coming on tonight. I really appreciate that. She has a voice all of her own. And I kind of liked her version of Say You Love Me as much as Fleetwood Mac's version. They're very, very similar in some ways, but I don't know. I've always kind of liked her version. There she is now. Well, she was very thin when she passed because of some of the things that she was going through. In 75, she had a little bit longer. I just wanted you to know in 76, and like I said, her biggest hit was the song we know from Fleetwood Mac, Say You Love Me, in 1976. She kind of bow out. She kind of didn't want to tour after a while because there are rigors to touring, right? There's a lot going on with touring, and of course her health was a big factor, I'm sure, in her decision not to tour. Let me just take these out. Thank you for everyone who is going to pay tribute to Shirley Eikhard, which, again, I think there was 3 opportunities for me to talk to her. And every time something went wrong, either I was sick, not available, and it just never happened. And I say this a lot sometimes, especially with the Canadian artists when I come on here and say, I missed that one. Kenny Shields the same way. There's a few that came so close to doing interviews and it didn't happen. So that's why I do a lot of Canadian interviews and we're starting to populate this channel. So may she rest in peace. She was 67. Her friend, a longtime friend, Deborah Dugan, said that Shirley died on Thursday at the hospital in Orangeville, surrounded by her closest friends. She was 67, and that, of course, is this Thursday, today. So there you go. May she rest in peace. Thanks for the folks who are going to watch this. I appreciate this. Leave your comments, like our video. You're not liking someone who died, but you're liking the fact that we're reporting it. Take good care. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Canada.